Already on. Check, check. Ooh, that's hot. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. How's that out there? Woohoo! Line of sight? Yeah. No, it was close-ish. No, that seems about right. I've never been like up on it, but that feels about right. Maybe a little. Might have been sitting lower, maybe, or something. But the upside is, it sounds really good being closer. To be fair. Maybe just a smidge down, yeah. That's just that way when I'm really singing into it, it's not super crazy loud. So it's not like if I'm gonna keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, never turning back, never turning back. So it's just not too loud, yeah? Is that okay? I think so, yeah. I mean, you hear it out there. If I sound too loud out there, you can always just bump me down a little bit. There we go. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. Yeah, I think that's that. Just a smidge more, because yeah, when I get into my upper register, I know it gets a little loud. My voice pops out suddenly. Check, check. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. Something like that. Another's woe, and not be in sorrow too. Can I see another's grief and not seek for kind relief? Cool, cool. Wherever you roam, amid the waters around you. Keep your eyes wide, the change will come again, and don't speak too soon, for the wheels still spin, and there's no telling who it is naming, 'cause the loser will now be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in my way.
thumb drive, and at least 2 Dylan songs on there.
Yes.
For some reason, I can nail anything that he does.
Ah,
Because
interesting. Yeah, it's a good thing. Exactly. I'm all for it. I say do it.
And a little bit of Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
No Elvis, because he just had such an amazing
style. Yeah.
Style. Just no way you could do it.
Try to copy Elvis is rough.
No, I finally given up. I tried to do a few Elvis things and it's like so weird.
Just like, yeah, you can't do that. Nah. Yeah. But Sinatra, yup. And Dylan, absolutely. Like.
Yeah. And another one that I did really well is Nick Davies of the Kinks.
Ooh, that's a thought. Ooh.
I used to.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was late all the time, I was seeing a woman, and every time I knocked on her door, that song would be playing.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
I can never forget that. So American.
That became your life song, so to speak.
That was my life song for a long time. Because my father, he kind of messed me up. He told me when they said, son, it's always good to be a little bit late. That wasn't a good thing. Anything my father said really got in there.
Yeah, well, of course, because it's your dad.
Now I'd like to be a little bit early.
Exactly. And that's funny because, like, in my family, it was always the opposite. It was always my mom that was running late for everything and never saw it as a big deal if we were late. It was always my dad going, nope, get there early. Always get there early. That's funny because, yeah, my dad was always the one who was, like, really punctual. Yeah.
It usually seems like it's the woman.
That's usually the one running late, but interesting. It was your dad that was like, oh, you can be late. Being late is good.
Well, there's only one, there's a kid song, Come Dancing.
Yeah, I'm dancing.
Totally natural.
So,
anyway,
yeah.
In the lyrics, and there's a video, I've seen it, his sister was always making her date wait.
Oh.
It really was the video is just fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember if I've seen the video. I should watch it though, because that sounds
really good.
Yeah.
I always liked that song, but when I saw the video, I want to do it at the next karaoke. It's
Ooh,
really fun.
Do it, yeah. And it's one that, like, I don't think people do a whole lot. Like, the last, it's been a long time since I've been to karaoke, but the last couple times I ever went, sometimes it's the same songs over and over again. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. That was really popular at karaoke.
Classic rock stars.
Yep.
I never knew back in the day that it would, but
yeah, but for some reason it's the karaoke song.
yeah, that's true. I've been to so many karaoke where that was big stuff.
Yep. That and really anything by Adele. People really like doing Adele for some reason, which is funny because she's so hard to copy.
So I'm interested.
It's like what was it? I think Hello is always really popular. Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times.
Oh,
that one.
Great.
That it's actually, I think it's a good karaoke song, so I kind of understand why people choose it. It's a good one. It's just long. Queen is always popular too. There's always somebody who wants to do either like Another One Bites the Dust or I want to break free. I got to break free. Yep, that's a good one for karaoke.
Maybe I should consider. I wouldn't want to do Adele. I don't make it like I couldn't do a Rita Franklin.
Exactly, because like it just doesn't.
Nobody.
No, only her. That is.
I actually, the peak experience I've seen from really amazing singers that I saw her.
Oh, wow.
She was at a private party, 50 people.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the floor, that far from her.
Oh my goodness.
And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, just the walls were probably ringing with it.
It was more than just putting the emotion into it.
Sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who yet it's naming. Because the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall. For he who gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside is raging. We'll soon rattle your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you don't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are a-changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing. For the times they are a-changing.
Come into our house of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. We welcome all who have found a home here, as well as those seeking a new path. The seekers of justice, spirituality, and community. Throop Unitarian Universalist Church, where we love the world from the heart of Pasadena. Today is a bittersweet and a bit challenging day for me. This is my last full service with you as your intern minister. Our May 22nd service will be a transition service, but today it's my pleasure to offer this last service for you. And it's a service that is a topic that is really important and dear to me. We're going to be talking about how anti-oppression, anti-racism is built into who we are as UUs, and one of the things that brought me to ministry to begin with. So I hope you stay with me. And so now we're going to open ourselves to this sacred space, this time together. And here or in your own homes live streaming, we affirm that each of us is a light made visible in this world. And we recognize the flame from our chalice symbolizes and reflects that light. Our time in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives, and as a symbol of that connection, we light our shared chalice with flame from our sacred candles of hope and witness. Our flaming chalice is now and has always been a beacon for the oppressed. It was created originally as a signal for safety for people suffering from Nazi persecution. It was a symbol in French refugee camps so that anyone carrying a note with a flaming chalice embossed on it could be trusted. Sympathizers would draw a symbol in the dirt outside their homes in France as a signal to those in need of a place to stay, a light in the darkness. And so may we now look anew at our flaming chalice as that same beacon of light, guiding us in new ways to counter oppression in all forms, and to be seen as a light for our path into service for all that we need of love, of compassion, and support. And we now light a second candle to honor the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop was once and still is the home of the Gabrielino Tongva Band of Mission Indians. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into seeking justice and equity for all. We light a third candle symbolizing our watershed, the Arroyo Seco. May their waters continue to nourish life in our communities. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, of which we're called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life.
And now, with a slightly dead microphone, with a really dead microphone. Well, I'm going to do this. Thank you. You can help me with that. I'm going to do this next part, and that is we are all here together to welcome each other. So I welcome you. Please take into account to the green, yellow, red symbols to welcome each other.
For fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks for all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift for which we're called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
And to bring us back into more contemplative thoughts within our service, and because you're all warmed up from talking to each other already, I'm going to ask you to participate in a responsive reading. Your response is going to be, we make promises to honor love, compassion, and justice above all else. As Unitarian Universalists, our journey is to transform the big to the small, to transform ourselves and to transform the world. Universalism means no one is outside the circle of love, and no one is disposable. We promise to honor love, compassion, and justice above all else. We stubbornly seek out the spark of the divine in each other, no matter what. Interdependence means none of us is truly free until we are all free, and our thriving is bound up in the earth's thriving. We make promises to honor love, compassion, and justice above all else. We struggle for liberation from violence of white supremacy, sexism, ableism, classism, heterosexism. Our covenants mean that we make promises to our communities to honor, love, and justice above all else. We make promises to honor love, compassion, and justice above all else. Thank you. Our pondering today is a poem by Maya Angelou. It's entitled Human Family. I chose this because it really speaks to how we look at each other not only as individuals, we look at each other for our differences as well as how we are alike. I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious, some of us thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity. Others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse, delight, brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really are the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we different, in major ways the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but none we are more alike, my friends, than we are unlike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unlike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unlike.
So looking out at the congregation, There are so many differences in the pews. And if you're not quite convinced of that, I would invite you, not really right now, but maybe at social hour, to ask a neighbor their philosophy of composting. And there you will find where we really think differently from one another. Am I right, George Patton? Yeah. And so when I think about Throop Unitarian Universalist Church, I don't think of us as a like-minded people, but I think of us as a like-hearted people, because no matter what you put into your compost at home, I know you do it with a big, generous heart where you really, in all of your actions, try to honor love, compassion, and justice. And so with all of our different philosophies, but all of our like-heartedness, we come into this community, and it's our hands and hearts and ideas and love for earth and one another that make this place our spiritual home. And you support it in so many different ways. Some of you with your time, and that was so evident last night with our spring fling, those of you who helped put that together. With your talent, I mean, hello, people running the DJ booth last night and being able to string lights up outside. And then also, of course, with your treasure, those of you who are able to give financially. And this is a moment each week where we just take an intentional pause and invite those of you who can to make a donation to the church so we can continue our ministries in the world. And you can make that donation online. There's a link in the order of worship. You can text to give, or if you're in the room, Cynthia's going to come down with an offering plate and you can offer your gift in that way. Thank you so much for all the ways you support our life together. The morning offering will now be gratefully received.
Can I see another's woe and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's grief and not seek for kind relief? Can I see a falling tear and not feel my sorrow's share? Can a father see his child weep, nor be with sorrow filled? Can a mother sit and hear infant groan or infant fear? No, no, never can it be. Never, never can it be. Can I see another's woe and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's grief and not seek for kind relief?
As we think about being able to see so much in other people and really other beings that we come across, I just invite you to take a gentle breath in together and exhale. And in a spirit of gratitude, we say together the thanks for the offering. Those words are in the order of worship. For the ministries of the church and our community, we bless our offering with love and hope And as we extend that sense of love and hope and compassion and justice out into the world, I invite you to take another breath in together. Hello, May 1st, and exhale. And we share the words of our promise to our planet. As members of the family of living beings on earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part, with hearts filled with love for it, eyes nurtured by its beauty, and minds ruminating on ways to protect its sacred and scarce resources. We promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself. And in that spirit of nurturing the well-being of all life, our Throop community life is definitely a piece of that. This month, we are thinking about ways we are very intentionally supporting Throop financially through our annual pledge drive. And this morning, Marisa Morrison, who is a Throop Learning Garden steward, and as of about 8 a.m. this morning, has said yes to being our Sunday morning greeter coordinator. If anyone wants to be a Sunday morning greeter, you now talk to Marisa about that. And Marissa's here to share a bit of her story.
Good morning. Like Tara said, I'm Marisa Morrison. For those of you that don't know me, I've been attending Throop since about 2019, and I became a member in 2021. During the height of the pandemic, I think I was one of the first people who came back and joined sort of after we'd been shut down for a little while. I initially came to Throop through the Learning Garden. Sylvia Holmes I met through a choir we were both a part of, and I talked about wanting to dig in the dirt again. And it took me a while to go from digging in the dirt outside to coming into the building because I'd had some not so great experiences with churchiness, and I didn't know for sure what Throop was going to entail. But I did come into the building, and since then I have been sort of invited to and welcomed into this community that's very warm and is also, ideologically aligned with things that I really care about as a person, despite, our differing opinions on compost. We are grappling with big changes and big challenges as a community, and I think that Throop is a really wonderful place to get to explore that in a way that, is supportive and also stretches you to be a better person. During my third midlife crisis, I decided that something that I really cared about as a person is doing the right work in the right way. And I think that Throop is a place that's committed to doing that for everyone. Greg talked about all of the things that, we're struggling with as the world today, and he's going to tell us, hopefully some ways that we can handle that appropriately. And that's what I really find in this community, is a chance to do the right work in the right way, personally, interpersonally, professionally, with your free time, moving us forward as a community and congregation and just as people in the world today. I am somewhat not pleased to admit that I'm actually not currently a Throop pledging member. I do give on a weekly basis, except for when my weekly contribution online expires and then I don't realize it for a little while. So that's something I'm hoping to rectify by no later than May 8th, which is a date you will hear again. Because you've got this great committee of people here at Throop trying to make sure that they can keep doing the right work in the right way financially for this community, I want to make sure that I am doing the right thing in the right way by pledging, and I encourage you all to do the same. Because Throop is a really wonderful place that has been so centering for me, especially during the past few years of the pandemic. I want to support that how I can, financially, by being the greeter, by standing up here talking to you today about it, and I hope that you'll do the same.
Thank you, Marisa. Please join me now in a brief prayer of thanks for our community, for our garden, for all that we have that supports us, as well as those without that can sustain them. Spirit of love and light, we are filled with gratitude for our beloved community and for those connections that it brings. May we cherish these moments together, and collectively and individually, may we be moved to find ways to expand our circle of community to those in need, those in pain, those that have suffered discrimination and oppression. I lift up to the universe these gratitudes and ask for support for the work yet to be done, for all that lifts us, for all that holds us and sustains us. We give our thanks. Amen and blessed be.
I'm gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Keep on moving proudly. Never turning back. Never turning back. I'm gonna keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Keep on singing loudly. Never turning back, and never turning back. I'm gonna keep on loving boldly. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Never turning back, never turning back. I'm gonna reach across our borders. Gonna reach across our borders. Gonna reach across our borders. Never turning back, never turning back. I'm gonna end the occupations. Gonna end the occupations. Gonna end the occupations. Never turning back. Never turning back. I'm gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back.
Yes, what she's saying. I remember vividly, when I first realized what white privilege meant and that I was perpetuating it. I was stunned. I was in my late 20s, and I had been spending the vast majority of my time with my work traveling on the road from city to city. This is back before GPS. This is back before cell phones. And I was explaining how this travel plan worked to a new employee. Her name is Maru, and she was from Mexico City. It's easy, I remember saying. If you're driving down the road, you need to stop for a cup of coffee, you need to ask directions, hail a cab, you need to take a bathroom break, grab a quick cup of coffee, you just find the nearest hotel. You walk into it, you avail yourself of the amenities. It's simple. The staff are usually really friendly, they never question it. They don't even care whether you're actually staying at the hotel or not. When I told her this, she looked me in the eye and she said, "I can't." I said, "It's okay, we all do it." They accept it. It's something that you do when you're traveling on the road. She reiterated, "I can't." And that's when it struck me. The emphasis was on the I. She was female. She was from Mexico. No matter how well-dressed she was, she knew if she walked into a hotel, they were going to ask her why. What was she doing there? Who was she visiting? The coffee's not free. I'd never stopped to consider that kind of privilege that I had that others didn't. From this experience, I began thinking back. What else have I missed? What else am I not seeing? I had an experience when I was younger. I was in undergraduate school, actually, and I was working for a hotel. And I remembered all those times when a young woman by herself walked into the hotel. We assumed she was there working, not visiting. Where there were people of color coming in to the lobby, our security followed them and asked them very nice questions on the auspice of being helpful, not questioning. At that moment, talking to Maru, it all came and clicked. How could I have been so blind to the struggle of women, of people of color, who, by lottery of birth, did not look like me and could not move through the world the way I did? Now, could I blame the biases that had been instilled in me growing up in a predominantly white neighborhood, or attending college in Baltimore City, where the city was very diverse, while the college I attended, again, was predominantly white? And the list goes on. But of course I could. That's what biases are for. And maybe I did for a little while. Even though I lived in a predominantly black city, I still lived mostly in my bubble of familiarity. And even today, after having spent so much time over my life working towards establishing justice, showing equity and compassion in human relations, and understanding that people do have the inherent worth and dignity, there have been times, even in my ministerial formation process, that I have had to confront my privilege of being a white, cisgendered, college-educated male, knowing that in some cases, my success and the opportunities offered to me maybe are due in part to who I am, as well as my talents that I bring. When this happens, it is painful. It causes me to feel shame that I am not as enlightened as I thought I was, that I still make mistakes. Just ask my wife. But pain is nothing compared to what people of color, what the members of the LGBTQ+ community feel and face every day. So I try to reframe my experiences. I embrace and I accept the pain, knowing that I am growing because of it. Being humble and learning that when I'm called out for using an incorrect pronoun, or when a black classmate once told me that I will never be able to feel his pain and trauma and know he's right. This doesn't stop me from extending my perception of the wider systems that are in place in our country. Once you become aware of the school to prison pipeline, the redlining of housing, the list goes on and on and on, and they're all inherently racist. A system built on white supremacy, once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Your choice is to either pretend that it doesn't exist, or you choose to do something about it. One of the biggest reasons I chose to attend the Star King School for the Ministry as the seminary I am attending now, rather than other seminaries, is their expressed commitment to counter-oppression. Each and every class taught there is actually mandated to have a facet of this justice work incorporated within it. And believe me, I have been challenged many, many times in my seminary work to truly work and look inward, to recognize my face in history, my lineage, my legacy of white supremacy. But as I was writing this, I came to the conclusion I would have it no other way. Being truly open to countering oppression in any way is hard work. It is roll up your sleeves hard work. You have to be willing to take the steps to recognize the differences in our human family and yet still see we are more alike than we are unalike. But my 20-something person didn't fully understand that yet. And after these realizations of my privilege that I didn't yet fully understand and may never fully understand, I began that internal and external process of exploration. It wasn't immediate, but at least I was looking through new eyes. Fortunately, I was not alone in this. My wife, Angela, understood this even before I did, and we began making this journey together. We attended rallies, we attended marches, we joined the First Unitarian Church of Baltimore, and we were welcomed with arms so wide and encompassing. And it was a place that was naming service as their prayer, and they walked the talk. We moved to Arizona and joined the UU congregation in Phoenix. And after Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman, we helped plan one of the hundreds of the million hoodie marches that popped up around the country. UUs in Arizona always brought bottled water, sometimes first aid kits, to help combat the blazing sun while we were out there protesting in hoodies. We arrived with our distinct standing on the side of love yellow t-shirts, and that was the first time I heard them yell, "Yay, the UUs are here!" They recognized us not only for the t-shirts, but for the actions that we were taking. We were enthusiastic about lending our voices and bodies to fight oppression, fight brutality against people of brown skin. Buoyed by this event and yet depressed that such events were still needed to be held, I began to look for other ways to help. We lived in Maricopa County in Arizona. For those of you that are nodding with me and those of you that don't yet know, that is the seat of Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who is very proud that he is the person running the prison systems, those prison systems where prisoners are kept in tents outside in what is some days 140 degrees in those tents. People died. More rallies, more knocking on doors, more political campaigning, writing letters, making calls. It never seemed to end. when it was announced that the next UU General Assembly was to take place in Phoenix, both despite and because of what was happening in Arizona, I was stoked. It's in my backyard, and I can do something about this. When I attended the rally, which was held outside of the prison, where we sang to the prisoners throughout the night to make sure that they knew people were there who recognized their humanity, that they still existed, it took a toll. And when counter-protesters started hurling racial slurs and threatening violence, I almost, just for a minute, wanted to forget that training I had about nonviolence and take a more physical stand. Again, it never stops. George Floyd, the election of the president that rolled back so many basic human rights. I am Muslim. I am my brother's keeper. I do stand with the Standing Rock Sioux. I needed to belong to something bigger than me, something that had the influences that I was looking for. I joined the Poor People's Campaign. And for those of you that don't know this organization, it's based on Martin Luther King Jr.'s call for a revolution of values in America. Yeah, we're still doing what Martin Luther King Jr. started. His campaign demanded economic rights as human rights for poor Americans of all backgrounds. King shifted his focus on these issues after observing that the gains in civil rights had not improved the material conditions of lives for many African Americans. The Poor People's Campaign was born. It was motivated by a desire for economic justice, the idea that all people should have what they need to live, just to live. It was for all ethnicities, all backgrounds, aimed at alleviating poverty regardless of race. And then in 2018, Reverend Dr. William Barber II and Reverend Dr. Liz Theo Harris began the next chapter of this campaign, the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. I love those words, moral revival. The mission to confront the interlocking evils of systemic racism, poverty, ecological devastation, militarism, and the war economy, as well as the distorted narrative of religious nationalism. That is a lot to tackle. There have been many events nationally. I have attended many rallies, many meetings. There actually, shameless plug, is another rally on Monday, May 16th, Moral Monday. It's in Los Angeles. It's part of the Mass Poor People's and Low-Wage Workers Assembly. You might have noticed that I have been on crutches for a while. It's about 1.5 miles. If I can do it, you can do it. This is just one of the many ways to get involved. And I know there are so many others. I know I am preaching to the choir, so to speak. And I want to ask you after service, and we actually are going to have after the service in the back with snacks and water. It's going to be so great to do that again. I ask you, maybe this is a topic of conversation to discuss with each other. What ways have you done this? What ways do you want to do this? And remember, we make promises to honor love, compassion, and justice above all else. Amen and blessed be.
From the light of days remembered, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith that seems fear.
and yes, again. Although our chalice will be extinguished shortly, we carry its light within us. May we recognize the flames in each other and use them to illuminate our paths forward and to be a beacon of light for one another in peace and love. And before I send you out, I'm going to ask you to participate in our postlude. It's a call and response song. It's called Someone's Hurting My Brother. It was written based on testimonies of poor white and poor communities of color that were having coal ash dumped into their communities, poisoning their waters, poisoning their children. It's a song that the Poor People's Campaign and many, many, many other traditions have used. And I want to ask you to please rise, and as you are able and willing, and participate. And yes, you can sing in your masks if you want to. You want to start us out?
I'm going to start us out, and
Okay.
you're going to follow Grant.
And you're going to follow me.
Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's
Gone on long too long.
And it's
Gone on far too long.
And it's
Gone on far too long.
Somebody's hurting my brother, and it's
Gone on far too long.
And we
won't be silent anymore.
Can we add some claps to that?
Yes.
Together?
Go.
Somebody's hurting my sister, and
It's gone on far too long.
And it's
Gone on far too long.
And it's
Gone on far too long.
Somebody's hurting my sister, and it's
Gone on far too long.
And we
Won't be silent anymore.
Oh, somebody's hurting my sibling, and it's gone on far too long. And it's gone on far too long. And it's gone on far too long. Oh, somebody's hurting my sibling, and it's gone on far too long. And we
Won't be silent anymore.
And we won't be silent anymore.
And we won't be silent anymore.
One more time.
Won't be silent anymore. Thank you. Now go have some refreshments.